Today is not a day Sagittarius should watch passively. Two different maps of the sky are handing you two different moons right now, and if you only listen to one, you will miss half your own story. Here is what happens when both are telling the truth at once. There is a strange kind of doubling happening in your chart on Sunday, August 9th, 2026. Depending on which lens an astrologer uses, your moon is either quietly nudging you toward disciplined romance, or it has already flooded your whole body with a sense of destiny. Both are correct. Neither is complete on its own. And by the end of this, you will understand exactly why your day might feel like two conversations happening at the same time, one practical, one almost mystical, and how to use both instead of getting confused by them. Bigger picture. Let us start with the Western tropical view, because it sets the emotional architecture for everything else today. The moon is moving through Gemini, sitting in your 7th house of partnership. That is the house of the other person, the one you are building something with, romantically, creatively, or professionally. While it is there, it forms a sextile to Saturn, currently anchored in your 5th house of creativity and romance. A sextile is a cooperative angle. It does not force anything. It simply opens a door and asks you to walk through it with intention. So today, partnership and structure are not fighting each other. They are holding hands. Now here is where it gets layered. Sidereal, Vedic astrology calculates the sky roughly 24 degrees differently, and by that measurement, your moon is not in Gemini at all today. It is sitting in Taurus. That is not a contradiction, it is a different coordinate system looking at the same moment. In Vedic tradition, moon in Taurus often stirs something deeper than logistics. It stirs purpose. A sense that whatever felt impossible last month might actually be reachable now, if you are willing to plan it out with both feet on the ground. So here is the first real insight of the day. The Western chart is showing you the mechanics, how to organize, confirm, and structure what you want. The Vedic chart is showing you the fuel, the emotional conviction that makes structure worth building at all. One system hands you the blueprint. The other hands you the reason to pick up the hammer. There is a third layer sitting quietly underneath both of these, and it has been active for a while. Chiron, the wounded healer, has been transiting Taurus, and specifically your 6th house, the house of daily work, service, and unglamorous obligation. In psychological astrology, Chiron does not just mark pain. It marks the exact place where you learn what you can actually get away with, and what the world will actually tolerate. Right now, that testing ground is work. Not in a reckless way, in a revealing way. What you attempt today, whether it is with a boss, an agent, or a pile of chores you have been avoiding, tells you something true about where your real limits are. And starting today, there is motion in a 4th area too. Mercury, the planet of communication, moves into your 9th house, the house of big ideas, philosophy, travel, and unfiltered truth-telling, and it stays there until August 25th. This is Sagittarius territory turned up louder. You are already known for honesty. This transit does not give you more of it. It gives you volume. Take a breath here, because this next part is personal. Love. Bring the 7th house energy back into focus, because this is where it becomes tender instead of technical. If you are building something with someone, a relationship, a creative partnership, a fragile new romance, today favors having the actual conversation instead of assuming everyone already agrees. You may have noticed that good chemistry can quietly convince you that logistics do not matter. They do. The Moon-Saturn sextile is generous, but it rewards people who use it, not people who float on it. If you are single, that Vedic sense of purpose might show up as renewed motivation to put yourself out there again, even if a recent attempt did not land. If you are partnered, the 5th house connection means fun does not have to disappear just because you are getting specific. Confirm who is doing what for that date, that plan, that shared idea. Then let it actually be enjoyable, because you have removed the guesswork instead of hoping it works itself out. Later in the day, that same lunar energy reaches toward the sun in Leo, adding warmth and a genuine appetite for adventure. This is where endless flexibility stops looking charming and starts looking like avoidance. Choosing one plan, one time, one clear yes, that will likely feel more freeing than keeping every option technically open. A small promise, kept without resentment, tends to land better than another vague maybe. Career. That same testing instinct from Chiron's placement in your work sector does not disappear when you clock out of romance, it just changes costume. In professional or academic terms, today may quietly show you what boundaries actually bend and which ones were solid all along. This is not about being reckless with responsibility. It is about noticing where the real edges are, whether that is with a manager, a client, a professor, or the pile of tasks you keep pushing to tomorrow. Here is what almost gets missed about this kind of transit. What you get away with today does not just affect you. It quietly recalibrates what feels acceptable to the people around you too. If you push a boundary reasonably and it holds, you have just expanded what is considered possible for yourself and for whoever's watching. That is a real kind of influence, and it is easy to underestimate. Work also benefits from that structural Saturn support already discussed. Team environments in particular tend to run smoother today, especially if you are the one proposing the plan rather than waiting for someone else to organize it. Confirm the details early instead of assuming everyone shares your timeline. Money. Financially, today asks for a specific kind of restraint. Big purchases, speculative investing, and anything resembling gambling are worth setting aside for now, not because your instincts are bad, but because the emotional intensity many Sagittarius natives feel today can easily be mistaken for financial certainty. That is a risky combination. If you are partnered, money conversations might carry a little extra friction. So approach them with the same clarity you are being asked to bring to romantic planning. Say the number. Name the concern. Vague money talk tends to curdle into resentment faster than almost anything else. This is also a good stretch to let the ninth house's honest, philosophical energy work in your favor rather than against it. If a financial decision has been sitting unresolved, a candid conversation with someone practical, not just someone who will agree with you, could sharpen your thinking considerably. Health. Obsessing over an unresolved decision will not get you closer to resolving it. That loop tends to spin the same three worries on repeat without producing anything new. What actually helps is bringing the question to someone judicious rather than judgmental, someone who can offer honest feedback without deflating something that genuinely has promise. Here is the part worth sitting with. The real health story today is not physical strain, it is mental repetition. Many Sagittarius natives will notice that gratitude and stillness do more for their nervous system right now than any amount of problem solving. A short meditation, a few minutes of quiet, a walk without your phone, these small resets tend to outperform willpower today because the mind under this sky wants movement, not more grinding on the same loop. And here is the detail that ties the whole day together, the one worth remembering after everything else fades. The same energy that makes you want to test limits at work is the same energy asking you to soften your delivery starting today, as Mercury turns up your natural bluntness for the next 2.5 weeks. Push at your job, but season your words everywhere else. That single adjustment, testing boundaries in action while dialing up diplomacy and speech, is probably the single most useful thing you can take from this entire chart. Physically, nothing here suggests fragility. If anything, most readings describe steady baseline health today. The invitation is not to fix your body. It is to stop overmanaging your mind. Home and family. At home, the same principle about clarity over assumption applies quietly in the background. Shared responsibilities, chores, plans, small domestic negotiations benefit from the same directness you are using everywhere else today. If Chiron's testing energy shows up here too, in the form of skipped tasks or blurred expectations, it is less a crisis and more information. It is showing you, gently, where the real agreements in your household actually stand. Conversations with family may carry more warmth than usual, especially if you lead with the honesty this Mercury shift is amplifying. Just remember the diplomacy note from earlier. Bluntness delivered with care tends to open doors. Bluntness delivered without it tends to close them. Travel and spirit. There is something almost cinematic about where this day points next. Picture a long road that keeps curving toward the horizon without ever quite revealing what is past it. That is a fair image for how your ninth house feels right now, wide open and slightly restless. A specific city, San Francisco, keeps surfacing in some readings today as a place worth considering for future travel, not as a certainty, but as a nudge worth noting. More immediately, this Mercury shift into your travel and philosophy house could spark real curiosity about language, in the literal sense or the symbolic one. Picking up a few phrases in something new, Portuguese, Mandarin, or even a completely different kind of language like tarot symbolism or a technical skill you have been circling fits this energy well. It is not random. It is your naturally expansive mind looking for a fresh vocabulary to grow into. Spiritually, gratitude keeps surfacing as the through line today across more than one interpretation of this sky. That is not a coincidence worth ignoring. When two different traditions land on the same emotional advice from completely different angles, it is usually worth trusting. Lucky signs. If you are looking for the day's quick markers, royal blue stands out as a favorable color to wear or surround yourself with today. The stretch between 2:15 and 4:15 in the afternoon looks especially favorable for starting something new, whether that is a conversation, a project, or a decision you have been sitting on. Compatible energy today tends to favor people who value directness paired with warmth, rather than those who prefer things left unspoken. Today's guidance. So here is where all of it lands. Two different maps of the sky, one Western and mechanical, one Vedic and instinctive, are both pointing you toward the same simple behavior. Stop assuming, start confirming. Whether it is a partner, a manager, a family member, or your own unresolved decision, clarity is the theme running underneath every single section of this reading. Test your limits at work, because that is genuinely useful information right now. Soften your delivery everywhere else, because your honesty is about to get louder whether you plan for it or not. Choose one plan instead of keeping 10 doors cracked open. And when your mind starts spinning on the same worry for the third time today, trade the analysis for 5 quiet minutes instead. That is the real shift available to you today, not a dramatic reinvention, just a quieter, steadier kind of clarity, the kind that tends to compound day after day into something that actually looks like the life you have been aiming for.